All right, so this video is kind of one probably more pitched at our newer subscribers. Obviously, we've been in the US for a couple of weeks. We've been at heaps of different car shows and swap meets and museums and workshop tours in California. So we thought, you know, obviously we've had a whole bunch of, I think we've had about 400 or 500 new subscribers, and the Offenhauser workshop tour got like 20,000 views. So we've probably got a bunch of people that are going, right, so what do these guys do normally? So I'm going to run through the shop and the workshop and show you what our day job is, as opposed to our trips to the US, which is a little side gig of USA guided tours. But let's have a look around the shop, and then we'll chat really briefly at the end about the guided tours. Right, we'll start out the front. This is obviously the front. There's the yard. So let's walk through and basically talk about what we do. So we've got a little retail shop, as you can see here. Let me just change that. Now we carry a bit of Moon Eyes stuff. This is just some of it. I'm waiting on a bit more stock. Bit of merchandise. As you can see, we've got our own stuff, obviously, along there. And then, of course, we do Moon Eyes. We've got SoCal Speed Shop, t-shirts and all that sort of stuff. And that's all the Moon and SoCal stuff there. Little collection, skateboards. Here's all some more Moon Eyes, bits and pieces, key rings, all that sort of stuff, coffee cups, collectibles, all that sort of thing. This is a project for a customer that we're going to get to shortly. Mexican blankets, you know, we've got banners, all that sort of stuff. Little area here, you know, we've got plug leads and brake parts and bits and pieces. A lot of hot rod and straight machine stuff. We've been dealers for Jenny Shifter for quite a while. There's a little bit of stock gone, obviously, while we're away. Wayne sold a couple of shifters, so I'm going to have to stock up. But yeah, we've got wiring stuff and steering columns and all that sort of stuff. The boring day-to-day stuff. We sell a bunch of paint and paint supplies. We've got mixing systems on site for acrylic, lacquer and 2-pack. But let's go through the big doors and go into the workshop. So there's myself and Craig. Craig is the main guy in the workshop. This DeLorean is a friend of ours, Lachlan. He's got a couple of those, as you do. If you're going to have DeLoreans, you have two. This one's getting updated with a supercharged V6 General Motors 3.8 litre and a 6-speed Subaru gearbox. The Jeep here is one of our own projects. We only had the body and chassis, so what we've done is we've put it with it's 2-wheel drive now. Independent front end from a local Tirana, inline 6-cylinder Holden, disc brakes. And this, like obviously we've started to do the floor and that sort of thing. So that's ride height. We might chop the screen a little bit too. This is a Brookville 3-window reproduction body. At the moment, we've got the doors and all the inner structure out because we have to upgrade some of the structure to steel rather than wood, and we've got to fit seatbelt mounts and reinforcement there. There's the doors and everything. There's the chassis for that particular vehicle. It's getting a 426 Hemi and an 8 HP 8-speed automatic. The car under the cover here is a FJ Holden it's getting a supercharged inline 6-cylinder. Apparently the motor's going to be ready in a couple of weeks. We've been waiting on that for a while, so that'd be great to see that done. This F100 came in for a new diff. So there's the diff that turned up while we were away. It's getting a 4-bar rear suspension and coilovers, and we notched the chassis a little bit so that it sits lower. And then in a couple of months, once he's put the back in and he's going to paint it all and everything, he's then going to come back and we're going to fit a front end. The 57 Buick, we did an update to the airbag suspension on this vehicle. So we did that, fitted the AccuAir controllers and all that sort of stuff. And since then, we've just had to do a few jobs just to get it roadworthy, to get it registered. And one of those was we just had to get flexible brake lines and that sort of stuff done. So we should have that sorted soon. Volkswagen on the hoist, that's one of our little projects. It's the 62. While we're away, Wayne has put all the new brake, steering stuff in it, put some gaskets in the engine, And as you can see, sort of started to clean up the sides a little bit. We've got a few little rust repairs to do, but the idea is to leave it as a patinaed car and put it all back together. Now this particular car here, this was a hand-built cab that someone did, and then we had the customer came to us and said, could you build the whole thing? So we have done this entirely, basically everything here except for the cab, which was, like I say, someone else had made. We've built this whole car. We did paint this one, but we try and avoid paint really, but at the time we couldn't get a painter, so we did it. It's custom made tray. It's an extended chassis, so it's obviously a lot longer. Model A based, but it is much longer, like 6 inches in the doors and then a couple inches behind it. So the customer's about 6'2" or 3", so he needed extra room. But we've done everything: 351 Cleveland, C6, SoCal front end, 4-bar rear with a 9-inch. All the custom, we're basically about to go to trim, so you can see all the cup holders and shifter, and the seats are done. Custom made rear tray, all that sort of stuff. So that's sort of our bread and butter: building hot rods, modifying classic American cars, a little bit of Volkswagen stuff. Just out here, so this is my personal car. It's a 1970 Plymouth Barracuda, called the Barn Find Barracuda because even though it doesn't look too bad in the video, it's got lots of stone chips, lots of little marks around the paint. It's got a bit of patina, which is how I like it, because I want to just drive it and have fun and not worry about fancy paint jobs and that sort of stuff. But we did the interior. I think the interior's come out pretty good. You can see there. And then the yard, that's another Jeep that we're doing. That's I can't remember what year, but it's like what I call a Willys Jeep pickup, and we've put the service bed on the back. That's one of our Mad Max Wasteland Weekend type cars. I'm just going to move back in because it might be getting a bit windy. So that's more or less what we do day to day. So obviously we've got this 32 Brookville bodied car, that one. And then as we walk back through past the Jeep again, upstairs is all storage for water pumps and gaskets and all that sort of stuff. This 34 Chevy 3-window will be the next one. He's got an LS and a Turbo 400 for that. So in a couple of weeks, hopefully, this one will come out of the showroom and go into the workshop, and we'll start working on that one. He bought it as an unfinished project. So let me turn the camera around and we'll chat about the guided tours. So hopefully that gives you some idea what we do day to day, our main job. The guided tours is a little side project we started about 5 years ago, sort of pre-COVID. We got 2 done, and then once things opened back up in 2022, we've done about another 7. So normally 3 times a year, we go to the United States. We put 8 guys in a van, so there's myself and Craig as guides, 8 other guests, and we'll pick a big event. This time we just got back from LA Roadster Show, and it worked out. Pomona Swap Meet was the week after. We do SEMA, we normally go there, and then we'll do, say, the Grand National Roadster Show. Next year we're going to do the Pate Swap Meet and Lone Star Roundup in Texas. We've done Good Guys Pleasanton, so we pick one big event as the main draw card, and then we'll drive around, say, like Los Angeles or Texas, depending on where we are, and we'll go to a whole bunch of hot rod shops and automotive museums. So like in LA, we'll go to Peterson, NHRA, Lions, Justice Brothers, all that sort of stuff. And then we'll go visit people we've known for years, like Jimmy Shine and Dave Shutton, the guys at Hollywood Hot Rod. So we'll go do that, and we throw some tourist stuff in. You got to see the Hollywood sign and go down to Santa Monica and where the customer come in. So yeah, we pick that one big event and then go to all these different places. So you don't have to be from Australia. Most of our draw card is obviously Australia because that's where we live and we know people here, but we just had 2 guys come from New Zealand. You could live in Sweden, you could live in Japan, you could even be American, and you just want to go, hey, look, I just want to come over. So we organise hotel, we do the driving, the hotel's got breakfast, we organise entry to all the events. So if it's listed in the itinerary, we've covered it. So basically All you need to do is we just say you just got to be in LA on Thursday the 21st. You turn up then, we pick you up from the airport, we drive you around for 12 days, we stick you back on the plane at the end of it, or back to the hotel, whatever you want to do. And that's it. We cover everything in between. So our cost, which you can see on our Facebook page, which is A/C Promotions. I don't know, I'll try and put a link in the comments and see. But we cover all that. So really, after our expense, you've got to pay for your airfare, and then you're spending money for lunch, dinner, beer, coffee, and collectibles, which is of course your t-shirts and whatever you buy at the swap meet. So that's our side gig, but our main day-to-day stuff is of course building hot rods. And yeah, we'll be back in the US again for SEMA in a couple of months. And yeah, like other videos, tomorrow there's a little swap meet in Perth, I'll go to that. I'll go local car events. And if there's any workshops that we know, guys we know, we'll go and check them out. There's a couple of guys locally that will go film their stuff and show you some of the workshops here in Perth, Western Australia. All right, hopefully that covers some stuff for our new followers and new subscribers. If you've just watched a couple of the videos and thought, oh yeah, these guys look all right, like, subscribe, hit notifications, all that sort of stuff. Hopefully we do a bit of content that you guys like. Yeah, enjoy the videos and like the channel.